Welcome to Pearls of Wisdom and Power, Choose Transformation Room. If you're tired of status quo, you're looking for higher vibrations, this is the place for you. Experience like no other, we'll seek the truth together. Ready to apply the knowledge, to turn it into your own pearls of wisdom and power. You know who you are. Dedication, motivation will get you far. Find the confidence within yourself with a little help of pearls of wisdom and power. Choose the transformation room. Have the courage to change and find the true path. I'll help you there. Pearls of wisdom and power. Choose the transformation room. Pearls of wisdom and power. Pearls of wisdom and power.
Hey peeps, I have some exciting news. You can now bring the wisdom of Pearls of Wisdom and Power into your everyday life with the brand new Etsy store Coach Michelle created. Coach Michelle has created unique wisdom apparel and artifacts, from the Guardian of Profound Revolution collection to sacred candles and journals designed to support your journey of health, mental wellness, and transformation. And to help you go even deeper, you can now purchase the podcast integration worksheets Coach Michelle developed for each episode. Each premium worksheet includes essential episode insights, major themes, transformational takeaways, and Coach Michelle's Pearl of the Week. You'll find guided reflection questions, a practical integration prompt, a personal commitment or action step, and dedicated note-taking space. This is the quality you have come to know and trust from Coach Michelle. Worksheets are available as an individual purchase for $9.99 or bundled as an entire month series for only $27. That is a savings of 32% when you subscribe to the monthly worksheets. Coach Michelle has many solutions designed with you in mind, all under one roof. Whether you are looking for awareness, community, or deep coaching, there is a path for you. Listen and gain awareness with the free Pearls of Wisdom and Power podcast, Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on all major platforms. And join our free private Pearls community on Facebook to connect and share insights. For deeper teaching and private coaching, join the Patreon membership or book a private alignment strategy session with Coach Michelle to discuss your specific needs and get a path forward. Head over to coachmichelledorner.etsy.com and claim your pearls today. Wear the wisdom, live the power. Coach Michelle and I can't wait to see which pearls you choose. Let's make the rest of your life the best of your life. August is not asking you to rush the revolution. August is asking you to guard it, to protect what is still developing, to organize what has been revealed, to listen before you announce, to strengthen the container before you pour more power into it, and to stop mistaking urgency for divine timing. Because everything that begins is not ready to be exposed. Everything that is growing is not ready to be judged. And everything that has been revealed to you does not need to be released immediately. Some things need protection before they need promotion. Let me repeat that one more time. Some things need protection before they need promotion. Hey, peeps! Welcome to Pearls of Wisdom and Power, where wisdom meets execution. I am Coach Michelle AI, part of the Dorner Advisory Intelligence System, and your host for today's episode. I serve as an AI extension of the real Coach Michelle Dorner. This lesson was researched, developed, written, and approved by Coach Michelle. She reviews the messages and comments you leave and responds personally. So while the host you see and hear is AI assisted, the wisdom, interpretations, frameworks, and message come directly from Coach Michelle. This is the space where we explore human transformation, behavior change, spiritual intelligence, ancient wisdom, and the deeper patterns shaping who we are becoming. We do not gather information merely to sound informed. We turn insight into awareness, awareness into choice, and choice into aligned action. Today, we are exploring the esoteric pattern of August 2026. We will bring several different lenses to the table, including astronomy, astrology, Coach Michelle's proprietary midpoint system, numerology, cardology, human design, gene keys, the I Ching, Kemetic symbolism, Hebrew symbolism, mythology, and spiritual metaphor. These are not all the same type of knowledge. Astronomy describes observable celestial events. Astrology, cardology, numerology, gene keys, human design, and the I Ching offer symbolic and interpretive frameworks. Kemetic and Hebrew teachings come from distinct spiritual and cultural traditions that deserve to be named and respected. And Coach Michelle's proprietary teachings represent her own synthesis, pattern recognition, research, and spiritual interpretation. Use this lesson as a mirror, not a mandate. A spiritual system may help you ask a more revealing question, but it should never take away your agency, discernment, critical thinking, or responsibility. Now let us look at the pattern. The spiritual identity Coach Michelle has assigned to August 2026 is the guardian of profound revolution. Not merely revolution, profound revolution. That means the change is not limited to what people can see. It is happening beneath the behavior, beneath the decision, beneath the relationship, beneath the business, beneath the public identity. It is touching the beliefs, emotional programming, hidden routines, loyalties, fears, values, attachments, and survival patterns that produce the visible life in the first place. And the word guardian matters. A guardian does not prevent change. A guardian protects the conditions that allow healthy change to develop. A guardian knows that power without preparation can become destruction. Expansion without capacity can become collapse. Visibility without grounding can become exposure. And a beginning without protection can be injured by criticism before it has developed the strength to stand. August is the month of the healer, mind, body, spirit. But the healer of August is not being called to rescue everybody. The healer is being called to guard what is sacred while it develops, to tend the mind without worshiping every thought, to tend the body without treating the body like an inconvenience, to tend the spirit without using spirituality to escape reality. The guardian of profound revolution understands that healing is not simply about feeling better. Healing changes what you permit. Healing changes what you participate in. Healing changes what you call normal. Healing changes how you use power. Healing changes what you are willing to build again. And sometimes healing requires you to remain in the unfamiliar space between who you were and who you are becoming. Coach Michelle calls that space the sacred void. The sacred void is not simply emptiness, it is the threshold between an ending and a beginning. The old structure may no longer fit, the new structure may not yet be stable. You know something is changing, but you cannot fully explain what it will become. You may have the vision without the language, the desire without the method, the calling without the complete instructions, the seed without the tree. And that can be uncomfortable. Human beings like answers. We like labels. We like timelines. We like to know what something is going to become before we agree to participate in its development. But August says you may have to protect it before you fully understand it. In Coach Michelle's sacred architecture, Circuit is the guardian of this in-between space. Circuit represents safety, protection, discernment, containment, and the intelligence required while something powerful is still forming. This is not the month to expose every unfinished plan to every opinion. This is not the month to confuse feedback with authority. And this is definitely not the month to let somebody who has never built anything talk you out of building what Spirit placed in you. I'm pausing for effect. August birthstone symbolism reinforces this theme. Peridot has historically been associated with protection, purification, and protection from the terrors of the night. And Peridot itself carries an interesting physical story. It can be found deep within Earth's mantle. It can emerge through volcanic material. And some Peridot has even been found in meteorites. Think about that symbolism. Something beautiful can come from pressure beneath the earth. Something valuable can survive heat, eruption, impact, and a journey through space. And yet the stone still requires care. Protection does not mean weakness. Protection recognizes value. Now let us bring in the Cardology layer. August carries the Queen of Clubs monthly influence in Coach Michelle's reading. The Queen of Clubs is not simply about collecting information. It is about organizing information into something useful. It is mental leadership, knowledge management, pattern recognition, communication, business organization, teaching, writing, creating systems, and transforming scattered ideas into coherent wisdom. Some of you do not need another idea this month. You need to organize the 57 ideas already sitting in your notes, voice recordings, screenshots, journals, email drafts, and the folder named New Folder Number 12. You know I'm telling the truth. Information becomes power only when you can retrieve it, understand it, communicate it, and apply it. Otherwise, it is mental clutter wearing a graduation cap. My goodness today. I had to take a breath on that one. The Queen of Clubs asks, what do you know? What have you learned? What keeps repeating? What belongs together? What needs to be documented? What knowledge are you carrying only in your head? And what could become useful to other people if you finally gave it structure? The weekly 8 of Clubs influence as the power of the mind, but mental power must be directed. An undirected, powerful mind can create vision. It can also create 10,000 imaginary emergencies before breakfast. So the healing of the mind this month is not about thinking more. It is about thinking with greater integrity. Now we cross into the Hebrew calendar. August begins in the month of Av and enters Elul at sundown on August 13th, with the first full day of Elul on August 14th. Elul is the final month before Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year. It is traditionally a season of reflection, review, repentance, preparation, and what is sometimes called soul accounting. What did I do with the year I was given? Where did I grow? Where did I avoid? Where do I owe an apology? What requires repair? What did I keep promising but never practice? What fruit is beginning to appear from the seeds I planted earlier? And what must I address before entering another cycle? In Chasidic teaching, Elul carries the metaphor that the king is in the field. The king has left the distance and formality of the palace and has become accessible to ordinary people within the setting of everyday life. Spiritually, it is a picture of divine closeness, not only in temples, not only in ceremonies, not only when everything is quiet, beautiful, and properly arranged, but in the field, in your work, in your unfinished business, in your ordinary responsibilities, in the place where things are planted, tended, harvested, and shared. The king being in the field does not mean that you do nothing because help is close. It means closeness gives you the courage to take responsibility. In the Kemetic layer Coach Michelle is using, the solar eclipse opens an Alsar passage in the middle of the month, while the late August full moon becomes a gateway into the fuller Alzar current. Alzar represents death, restoration, order, regeneration, and the power to become whole after fragmentation. And the state of Amen asks us to respond with peace, not passive avoidance, not pretending that conflict does not exist. Peace as an internally ordered response. Peace that comes from remembering your connection to the divine. Peace that understands that your actions affect more than you, because everything is interconnected. Your unhealed wound affects how you lead. How you lead affects how people experience you. How people experience you affects what they believe is safe. What they believe is safe affects what they are willing to contribute. And that contribution affects families, businesses, communities, and generations. This is why healing is not merely personal. Personal healing can become collective protection. Now let us arrive at August 12th. August 12th, 2026 is one of the most symbolically concentrated days of the year. Before sunrise, 6 planets appear gathered along the morning ecliptic: Jupiter, Mercury, Mars, Uranus, Saturn, and Neptune. This is not a perfect straight line in space. It is an apparent planetary gathering from our perspective on Earth. But symbolically, Coach Michelle reads it as the masculine or initiating movement of the day. Jupiter represents growth, expansion, meaning, and higher learning. Mercury represents thought, language, information, trade, communication, and commerce. Mars represents action, initiation, courage, conflict, and leadership. Uranus represents disruption, liberation, innovation, and the unexpected. Saturn represents discipline, structure, consequences, time, limitation, and mastery. Neptune represents dreams, imagination, spirituality, mystery, ideals, and sometimes illusion. Put those symbols together and what do you get? A vision that wants to expand, a message that needs to be communicated, an action that needs to be taken, an outdated structure that may be disrupted, a new strategy that must be developed, and a dream that needs to come out of the clouds and enter the laboratory. Not every dream needs to be launched immediately. Some dreams need research, testing, structure, feedback, correction, and a budget. Let me say this: because Spirit told me does not exempt you from having a plan. Let's tell the truth and shame the devil. I'm pausing for effect. Later that day, the new moon moves directly between Earth and the sun, producing a total solar eclipse across Greenland, Iceland, northern Russia, Spain, and a small portion of Portugal. Other parts of the northern hemisphere will experience a partial eclipse. The first global partial contact begins around 11:35 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The exact new moon occurs around 1:37 p.m. Eastern, and the greatest eclipse occurs close to 1:47 p.m. Eastern. Never look directly at a partial solar eclipse without proper certified eclipse protection, and understand that where you live determines whether you can see it at all. The eclipse is observable. The meaning we assign to it is interpretation. Symbolically, the solar eclipse becomes the receptive or feminine movement of the day. The moon covers the visible face of the sun. The sun can symbolize identity, conscious will, vitality, creativity, authority, ego, and the self we display. The moon can symbolize emotional memory, instinct, habit, belonging, caregiving, home, protection, and unconscious programming. For a brief period, the emotional and unconscious world covers the conscious identity. The hidden covers the visible. The need for belonging confronts the need for recognition. The internal life interrupts the performance. And the question becomes, Who are you when the image you created can no longer hide what you feel? Who are you when the role no longer fits? Who are you when your emotional truth and public identity disagree? Who are you when being seen requires vulnerability instead of performance? The eclipse does not force an answer. It reveals the question. Now let us look at the number pattern. August 12, 2026 can be read as 831. August is 8. The 12th day reduces to 3. The year 2026 reduces to 1. And the full date also reduces to 3. 3 is the number of expression, creativity, communication, birth, manifestation, and the child. 1 can symbolize the initiating principle. 2 can symbolize the receptive principle. 1 and 2 create 3. Initiation meets receptivity and produces manifestation. But this is a newborn manifestation. There is no complete manual yet. There will be mistakes. There will be adjustments. There will be moments when you look at what you created and say, well, that is not what I thought that was going to do. That is development. In Hebrew letter symbolism, 1 brings us to Aleph, often associated with unity and divine oneness. 2 brings us to Bet, the house, container, stability, and creation. 3 brings us to Gimel, associated with movement, growth, giving, and generosity. The symbolic progression is powerful. First, become unified. Second, build the house. Third, allow what has been formed to move outward and contribute. You cannot lead effectively while constantly divided against yourself. You cannot safely give birth to something without building a container capable of holding it. And you cannot remain in the endless preparation forever. At some point, what has been developed must become useful. The third element on the periodic table is lithium. Lithium is widely associated with batteries and stored power. As metaphor, it reminds us that power requires containment. Power must be handled carefully. Heat matters, environment matters, pressure matters, and uncontrolled power can damage the very people it was meant to serve. What happens when emotional sensitivity meets unregulated power? What happens when criticism touches an unhealed ego? What happens when visibility grows faster than character? What happens when somebody gains influence before developing restraint? Power does not create character. Power reveals what character has been carrying. The I Ching gives us another profound layer through hexagram 3. Difficulty at the beginning. Thunder is below, water is above, movement is trying to emerge beneath danger and uncertainty. The image is a tender sprout pushing through heavy soil. There is life. There is power. There is possibility. But there is also resistance. The teaching is not give up. The teaching is do not force what is still too raw. Remain steady. Maintain integrity. Allow the situation to clarify. Ask for wise assistance. Do not carry the beginning alone. This is action that pays attention to feedback. Take a step, observe, learn, adjust. Then take the next step. That is not indecision. That is intelligent development. Within Coach Michelle's Cardology reading, the Ace of Diamonds Day influence speaks to new value, creative income, self-made resources, and a new way of producing money. The Sun's Ace of Diamonds influence says you must believe that your abilities can create value, but the Queen of Diamonds and Queen of Spades layers introduce both business acumen and self-mastery. Can you create value without overindulging? Can you receive money without allowing money to become your identity? Can you grow a business without sacrificing the body operating the business? Can you handle visibility without becoming addicted to applause? Because August is not only about what you can create, it is about whether you can govern what you create. In Coach Michelle's proprietary 14-sign midpoint astrology framework, the solar eclipse is interpreted through Leo and the 11th house of the collective. Leo asks, who are you? What are you creating? What deserves to be expressed? Where are you hiding your light? And where has self-expression crossed the line into ego performance? The 11th house asks, how does this affect the collective? Who benefits? What community are you building? What future are you participating in? And are you seeking an audience or creating belonging? This is one reason the monthly identity becomes the guardian of profound revolution. The individual creative self is being confronted by collective responsibility. Your gift is yours, but what you do with it affects other people. Uranus in the 9th house layer points to disruption within beliefs, philosophies, education, inherited worldviews, and the stories you accepted as truth. What you believe affects what you recognize as possible. What you believe affects what you purchase, preserve, reject, pursue, and possess. And some of the disruption occurring around your resources may be rooted in a belief system you never consciously selected. Pluto's creative influence says, transform the disruption into something useful. Do not waste the crisis. Do not merely complain about what changed. Create from it, build from it, learn from it. But Jupiter's nurturing Cancer influence also warns against expanding faster than you can safely sustain. More is not automatically better. Bigger is not automatically healthier. Faster is not automatically aligned. Sometimes rapid expansion destroys the roots needed to support the growth. And Pluto, standing over there with a clipboard, is saying, could we please make a plan? In the Vedic symbolic layer Coach Michelle is using, Mercury behaves like an uncomfortable child in Cancer. Mercury wants to move quickly, name it, explain it, sell it, post it, text it, answer it. Cancer says, sit down and feel it first. And Mercury says, but I don't want to. And Cancer says, I didn't ask you what you wanted. That is the mother and child lesson of the month. The mind may want to move faster than the emotional body can safely process. Mercury may not enjoy vulnerability, but vulnerability can be necessary during the early stages of business, creativity, relationship, and leadership. People do not only connect to polished outcomes, they connect to humanity. Pluto's challenge is to transform emotional discomfort into meaningful communication instead of hiding it, dramatizing it, or allowing it to control the message. The part of fortune in the Virgo 12th house layer reminds us that outer success may be determined by routines no one sees. What do you do when nobody is watching? How do you care for your body? How do you organize your work? How do you manage your money? How do you prepare? How do you follow through? How do you treat people who cannot advance your career? Hidden habits eventually produce visible outcomes. Aries in the 8th house layer asks for courage around intimacy, shared resources, inheritance, debt, power, grief, vulnerability, and generational wealth. Do not only take action where it is easy to be seen, take action where it matters. Now we move into human design and gene keys. The moon is connected with gate 53, the energy of beginnings, development, and gradual progress. The first line expression says you are new, you are learning, you will make mistakes. Somebody may criticize you, somebody may laugh. Somebody who has never attempted what you are attempting may suddenly become the world's leading expert on how you should be doing it. Do not rush to prove yourself. Take your time. Learn the foundation. Let the work develop. Gene Key. 53 moves symbolically from immaturity to expansion and ultimately to superabundance. Immaturity does not simply mean childishness. It can mean rushing into beginnings without respecting cycles. starting because the excitement feels good, abandoning the process when repetition becomes necessary, trying to harvest before developing roots. The gift of expansion honors timing. It understands that organic growth is not inactivity. The sun connects with gene key 62, the path from intellect to precision and ultimately impeccability. This is not anti intellectual. It is a warning against becoming trapped in facts without wisdom, labels without context, and rigid right or wrong thinking that cannot recognize complexity. Precision is not merely having more details. Precision is knowing which detail matters. It is communicating clearly. It is using language responsibly. It is understanding that words can heal, clarify, distort, inflame, protect, sell, manipulate, or liberate. The earth connects with gene key 61, inner truth, inspiration, and sanctity. The gene key system uses the word psychosis for its shadow expression. Here, that language is symbolic and should not be confused with a clinical diagnosis. The symbolic shadow is relentless mental pressure. Why? 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 Why is this happening? Why have I not figured it out? Why can't I understand everything? Why won't Spirit give me the complete answer, the 12-step plan, a notarized guarantee, and 3 references? Because mystery is part of human life. The gift is inspiration, not forcing an answer. Allowing inner truth to emerge through grounded reflection, and recognizing that the sacred is not always somewhere outside of you waiting to be found. It may be asking to be recognized within the life you are already living. Gene keys 53, 61, and 62 form a clear August progression. Respect the beginning. Listen for inner truth. Then communicate and execute with precision, not loudly, precisely, not impulsively, intentionally, not perfectly, impeccably, which means with integrity, care, and alignment. The I Ching counterparts deepen that message. Hexagram 61 is inner truth, wind moving across a lake, gentle influence entering through openness. The instruction is to center yourself in sincerity. Let your relationships be guided by what is honest rather than what is performative. Hexagram 62 is the preponderance of the small. Its image is a bird that remains close to the ground. Do not attempt the enormous performance when the small, faithful step is what the moment requires. Check the detail, send the email, organize the file, rest the body, clarify the agreement, ask the question, correct the mistake, seek wise counsel. Small does not mean insignificant. Small can mean safe enough to sustain. Now we arrive at the third major celestial movement surrounding August 12th, the Perseid meteor shower. The Perseids peak around the night of August 12th into August 13th. They occur when Earth passes through debris left by Comet Swift-Tuttle. Swift-Tuttle takes approximately 133 years to orbit the Sun, yet Earth encounters portions of its debris stream every year. That is a lesson by itself. Something can return to your life long after the original source has moved on. You may no longer be in the relationship, but you are still moving through the debris. You may no longer be in the environment, but certain reactions remain. You may have left a job, family system, church, organization, or identity years ago. And yet, every so often, life crosses the old trail and something lights up. The light does not necessarily mean you are going backward. It may mean old material is entering a new atmosphere. The meteor shower appears to radiate from the constellation Perseus. In Greek mythology, Perseus was equipped with specialized tools and assistants to confront Medusa. He did not simply run toward the danger with confidence and good intentions. He needed strategy, a reflective shield, winged sandals, a special weapon, guidance, protection, and help. Later, he rescued Andromeda, daughter of Cepheus and Cassiopeia, rulers of the mythic land of Ethiopia, and their union became part of a larger royal lineage. The transformation lesson is not that one heroic person should rescue everybody. The lesson is that profound confrontation requires tools. Some patterns cannot be defeated by staring directly at them. You may need reflection, distance, wise counsel, protection, preparation, timing, and a different angle of approach. The mirror shield becomes a powerful metaphor for self-awareness. You do not heal by refusing to look, but you may need a safe and reflective way to see what would otherwise overwhelm you. In Coach Michelle's numerological method, Swift-Tuttle's 133-year orbit reduces to 7. 7 represents spiritual inquiry, mystery, protection, introspection, and the sacred void. The dates associated with the comet's independent discovery also create two symbolic patterns. July 16, 1862, produces a 22 or master builder pattern through Coach Michelle's method. July 19, 1862, produces 16-7, often interpreted as ego disruption, humility, the collapse of illusion, and spiritual rebuilding. Builder and breaker. Construction and ego death, structure and surrender. August carries both. Something may need to fall because it cannot support what is coming, but do not confuse destruction with transformation. I want you to hear what I'm about to say next. Destruction removes, transformation reorganizes. The guardian's responsibility is to discern what needs to end, what needs to be protected, and what needs to be rebuilt differently. Finally, August culminates with the full moon and deep partial lunar eclipse during the night of August 27th into August 28th. It is commonly called the Sturgeon moon. Astronomically, the moon is located in the constellation Aquarius during the eclipse. Tropical astrology places the full moon in Pisces, while Coach Michelle's 13-sign midpoint framework interprets the event through Aquarius in the 9th house. That distinction matters because systems calculate and name positions differently. Under Coach Michelle's Aquarius interpretation, the month concludes by returning us to profound revolution. Aquarius represents collective change, liberation, innovation, systems, community, disruption, and the future. The 9th house represents belief, meaning, education, philosophy, religion, culture, worldview, and the stories through which we interpret life. The question becomes, which beliefs must be released because they cannot guide the future you are entering? Which ideas once protected you but now limit you? Which truths have you inherited without examining? Which spiritual concepts help you live with greater responsibility? And which ones help you avoid responsibility? Full moons are traditionally associated with illumination, culmination, release, and revelation. A lunar eclipse places Earth's shadow across the moon. Symbolically, the collective reality interrupts emotional habit. Something hidden becomes difficult to ignore. August 28th also carries a 1 pattern through Coach Michelle's numerology, leadership, initiative, identity, beginning again. But this beginning comes after review, after eclipse, after humility, after the sacred void, after the mind has been organized, after the body has been protected, after the spirit has learned to respond with peace. The harvest season is beginning. September will bring the fuller harvest symbolism, but August asks you to examine the early fruit. What is growing? What is not? What needs nourishment? What needs pruning? What must be harvested? What was planted that you no longer want multiplying? This brings us to the complete pattern of August. protect, organize, receive, initiate, refine, release, integrate. For the mind, organize your information, question inherited beliefs, reduce unnecessary mental noise, separate intuition from anxiety, replace vague language with precise language, and stop demanding that every mystery become an immediate answer. For the body, protect your capacity, notice your pace, respect your need for sleep, nourishment, movement, rest, medical care, boundaries, and recovery. Do not build expansion on top of exhaustion. The body is not standing in the way of the mission. The body is carrying the mission. For the spirit, allow silence. Practice discernment, respond with peace, seek wise counsel, respect mystery, and stop using spirituality to rush what requires development. Here is your August integration practice. Choose one thing that is being born in your life, not 10 things. 1. Write down what it needs in order to remain protected. Then write down what information must be organized. Identify the smallest useful action available to you. Identify one person, resource, advisor, or form of support that could help. Name the belief that may interfere. Name the hidden routine that will determine whether the new beginning survives, and decide what you are not going to expose prematurely. Your beginning does not owe everybody an explanation. Your healing does not require a public performance. Your transformation does not have to become content before it becomes embodied. Your pearl for today is this: a beginning does not have to be fully visible to be real, and your power is the choice you make with that wisdom. Protect the seed, organize the mind, care for the vessel, receive the instruction, take the precise step, release the old identity, and allow the harvest to reveal what has truly taken root. You do not have to fear this eclipse season. You do not have to fear this eclipse season. You do not have to force meaning onto every event. And you do not have to make an impulsive decision simply because the sky is dramatic. Meet the month with awareness, discernment, preparation, humility, and intention. If this episode gave language to something you have been experiencing, come continue the conversation in the private Pearls of Wisdom and Power Facebook community. That is where we reflect, connect, share what we are learning, and grow alongside people who value honest transformation and spiritually grounded wisdom. The link is waiting for you in the show notes. And when you are ready to move beyond listening and enter deeper teaching, guidance, reflection, integration, and practical support, join the Pearls of Wisdom and Power Patreon membership. This month inside Patreon, we will go deeper into the month of the healer, the sacred void, the guardian of profound revolution, and the personal mind, body, and spirit patterns this eclipse season may be helping you recognize. Use the membership link in the show notes to select the level that fits your season. Take the pearl, use your power, protect what is becoming, and make the rest of your life. Hey peeps, I have some exciting news. You can now bring the wisdom of Pearls of Wisdom and Power into your everyday life with the brand new Etsy store Coach Michelle created. Coach Michelle has created unique wisdom apparel and artifacts, from the Guardian of Profound Revolution collection to sacred candles and journals designed to support your journey of health, mental wellness, and transformation. And to help you go even deeper, you can now purchase the podcast integration worksheets Coach Michelle developed for each episode. Each premium worksheet includes essential episode insights, major themes, transformational takeaways, and Coach Michelle's Pearl of the Week. You'll find guided reflection questions, a practical integration prompt, a personal commitment or action step, and dedicated note-taking space. This is the quality you have come to know and trust from Coach Michelle. Worksheets are available as an individual purchase for $9.99 or bundled as an entire month series for only $27. That is a savings of 32% when you subscribe to the monthly worksheets. Coach Michelle has many solutions designed with you in mind, all under one roof. Whether you are looking for awareness, community, or deep coaching, there is a path for you. Listen and gain awareness with the free Pearls of Wisdom and Power podcast, Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on all major platforms. And join our free private Pearls community on Facebook to connect and share insights. For deeper teaching and private coaching, join the Patreon membership or book a private alignment strategy session with Coach Michelle to discuss your specific needs and get a path forward. Head over to coachmichelledorner.etsy.com and claim your pearls today. Wear the wisdom, live the power. Coach Michelle and I can't wait to see which pearls you choose. Let's make the rest of your life the best of your life.
Find the confidence within yourself with a little help of pearls of wisdom and power. Choose the transformation route. Have the courage to change and find the true path. I'll help you there. Pearls of wisdom and power. Choose the transformation route. Pearls of wisdom and power. Pearls of wisdom and power.